Good evening, everybody, and good evening, Brett Keane. For those that don't know, Brett Keane is now Stiggy's best friend. In fact, Stiggy is the only friend that Brett has, other than the wife that he likes to beat every now and again when he can't get an erection. Hey, Brett. Today I left a comment on one of Brett Keane's videos. I've done this before in the past. But this particular comment, Brett didn't really like. It wasn't offensive or anything, it was just putting my two penneth into a question he asked, essentially, about atheism and theism. So I put my opinion there, to do with a sign on a bus. Brett didn't like that. But you know what Brett done about that? He made a very silly video, didn't you, Brett? In fact, it's so silly that you pwned yourself in the title alone, given the content of the video, which I'll come to. Essentially what Brett is saying is that, well, me, little old me, is a big fat coward. Full slagging, wife beating, e-begging for Xboxes. Because I, wear a mask. Of course, Brett doesn't name me by name, but he does use this particular mask that I wear and makes some very lewd suggestions. Now, Brett, don't try and deny that's why you made that video. Don't try and insult my intelligence by telling me, I didn't make that video for that reason, I made that video because I wanted my opinion. Brett, you don't have ethics. And I know exactly what you're doing. We're going to come to ethics as well, very shortly, Brett. It's going to be very interesting. Now, when I find a new douchebag to troll on Brett, what I like to do is rename that douchebag. And in your case, Brett Keane, I'm going to rename you Wet Keane. Because you're wet. You talk wet. And you stink wet, like sweat. In fact, you're so fucking wet, Brett, that you make a porn star's vagina look dry. And that's with the lube. Oh, you're so contrived, Mr. Wet. So contrived. And yet not very contrary. So, let's start by pulling Brett's video apart. In fact, let's start by pulling big fat Brett the wet douchebag apart, shall we? First of all, Brett, the mask. Let's get straight to it, shall we, Mr. Wet? Well, I have actually taken the mask off 3 times. But of course you didn't bother to ask that, so you wouldn't know, would you? And do you know what happened last time I took the mask off, Wet? I was DMCA'd, most likely by religious fundamentalists. That's on topic, isn't it, Brett? But apart from that, Brett, I also put it to the public vote. And I'm going to ask people watching this video who were around at the time, who remember me doing this. I put it to the public vote. I asked people whether I should or should not take the mask off. And guess what the result was, Wet? To keep the mask on. It was overwhelming to keep the mask on. Even though I'd already taken the mask off previously, people wanted me to keep the mask on, Brett. For entertainment. So please, if you remember this happening, please leave a comment below, just letting Brett know that this did actually happen and I'm not doing what he does and making things up. I know why you really don't like masks, and I know why you don't like this mask. It's to do with Straight Dope, isn't it? Because Straight Dope pwned your ass and proved that you were telling lies, didn't he? He proved that you were e-begging as well. I've seen the videos, Brett. You see, this is another mistake that you made. You're assuming I'm new on the block because this channel is new. And I've themed this particular channel in the ways of V for Vendetta, which, by the way, is not anonymous. It's actually a comic book and a film. But we'll come to that later as well. Yes, Brett, I've been around for a while. And I keep getting false flagged and false DMCA'd. Something you'd know about doing, eh, Brett? So I have to keep moving to another channel, because a lot of people on YouTube, Brett, sorry, Wet, don't like the concept of free speech, do they? So that's why Brett doesn't like masks, because Straight Dope fucking pwned his ass, and proved he was lying. And you know what he was lying about? Oh, because Brett is so ethical now, isn't he? Brett is so fucking ethical. Brett was wife beating. He was beating his wife. Wasn't you, Brett? No, next time your wife offers you a coffee and puts it down, rather than saying thank you my love and kissing her, you know what you should do, Brett? Punch her in the face, because that suits you more. Yes, it suits you, sir. Brett. You know what, Brett? I've actually seen you showering. Somebody sent me a video of you showering. Yes, Brett does actually shower. I can never remove that from my mind, and I feel absolutely violated. Now, Brett has made his own website where you can post your own videos without being harassed and all the rest of that nonsense, because Brett believes in free speech, don't you, Brett? Yeah. I find that particularly ironic, Brett. Sorry, Wet. When previously you were on Gorilla 199's website, wasn't you? Yes, the same Gorilla 199, Chris Constantine, whatever you want to call him, who is a convicted criminal for DVD piracy. Also, Gorilla 199 is known for his censorship, for his false flagging and false DMCAing any critic. Yet you took sides with him, in the name of free speech. Yeah, that is proper fucking irony there, Brett. Real fucking irony. But I also find it odd, Brett, that, you know, you don't like the mask and stuff, but you're best friends with Stiggy. And what does Stiggy wear on his face, Brett? Oh yeah, a big fucking gay wolf mask, doesn't he? Yeah, he does, doesn't he, Brett? But you're best friends with him? That doesn't make sense, does it? Not much does in your world. And just to let you know, Brett, Stiggy copied the idea from me. Yeah, so you can defend him all you want, because by default, you're defending me on that. Have fun. But also, I'd like to point this out here with the title of your video and then the content, which I've linked below so people can go and have a look for themselves at how retarded this is. It's called something like Anonymous, Why Do You Wear the Mask? Well, isn't the clue in the title there, Brett? Anonymous. Because some people, Brett, don't live in your country. Some people live in a country which is highly surveillanced, like the UK. So we have to be anonymous, because not everything we say in this country is quite as accepted as it is in your country. But I find that quite funny when most of the false flags I have and DMCAs actually come from your country. So that's one reason to wear this particular mask. And do you know what this mask stands for, Brett? Now, I wear this mask when I'm actually being friendly, believe it or not. When I'm being friendly to somebody, I wear this mask. Otherwise, I'll be wearing your face. Ooh, that's a horrid thought, isn't it? Wearing your face, Brett. I don't have enough paper for that. But this mask, Brett, in the context that you're using it in the anonymous context, stands for freedom. It stands for the freedom of speech. It stands for other people's right to say what they want to say, even though I don't agree with it. But you know what, Brett? Even though I don't agree with what people say, I will defend their right to say it, because I believe in that freedom, Brett. Unlike you, who believes in wife beating. Don't believe me? Oh, that's fine. Just scroll through my videos. Have a look at the Bob Hickman video I made. Yeah, because I completely disagree with Bob Hickman. I made a video mocking him, essentially, taking the piss. But then my next video was why people should not false flag him. And if anybody is going to false flag him, I will remove them from my sublist and I will mirror any videos of Bob Hickman's, which are flagged. Even though I disagree with everything that he does. I don't believe a word of it. I still believe in his right to have his own say, to say what he wants, and not be false flagged, Brett. That's something you like to do, isn't it, Brett? False flag people. Oh, what about the e-begging? Let's come to that, shall we, Brett? Yeah, the e-begging. Wasn't you e-begging? Oh, I've seen you having a go at the Amazing Atheist, which, to be honest, I don't know one way or the other. I don't give a fuck. But what I do know, Brett, because now it's my problem, because you're in my face, my plastic face, is that you were e-begging, wasn't you? You was e-begging, saying you needed money because you were going to be kicked out and you need money to help you survive. Oh! But the truth is, Brett, you e-begged so you could buy yourself a new Xbox, didn't you? Yeah, it's all been proven. Oh, you want me to find the videos and put them up on my channel? R.R. Straight Dope, I'm sure he'll allow me to do so. Yeah, Brett. Think you fucked that one up, didn't you, mate? Yeah, Brett, so that's my ethic there. Free speech. Not wife beating or false DMCAing and false flagging people. Which is what you do, isn't it, Brett? You see, I actually have ethics. Yeah. And I wear the mask for a reason, Brett. You know what that reason really is? Why I really wear the mask after I pull it to the vote and everything else? And even though I've taken it off, people know what I look like. Do you know why I wear the mask? Because it's fucking cool. And that's something, Brett, you're never gonna have. Adios.